Hello, this is Lakshmi, and we are here to learn how to create a contact or a user record in ServiceNow. Let me log into the ServiceNow homepage, and once I log into the ServiceNow homepage, I will see the screen. And on the top right hand side, we will see our first name and the last name. And the left hand side, we have a filter navigator. Here in filter navigator, we will type in companies, and once we type in companies, we see companies under organization and under user administration. Let me click companies under user administration. Once I go to this page, I'll be able to see all the companies that are there within ServiceNow for the company which I'm working. And suppose if I have a request from a 3Com company stating that we need to create a user named Steve. So once I click on the companies, I see the company page. Under the customer view for the companies, we see a tab called users, section called users. Under the users section, we have a new button. Click on new, and this the user form opens up. Once the form opens up, we need to enter the details for the user we are creating. We need to enter his first name, we will enter his last name, we will enter his email address. So uh, if you want to create a contact, we can ignore the user ID. You can keep this user ID blank, and this will be a contact. We cannot grant him the access, or he cannot log into ServiceNow without the user ID. So you are creating a user, not a contact, then enter the user ID. Make sure that it is unique. So I will use the email address as the user ID. We can use that. So the email address and user ID is same here. And once we enter the user ID, and um, we can choose the language for the client or the user for whom we are creating this. We can add Outlook for calendar integration. You can add the title. If you know the details, you can add the title. You can add the department of the user. You can add the date format you want to use. You can enter the time zone. You can enter the mobile phone number or business phone. I think for a contact or a user record, business phone is important, so I enter the business phone details here. You can add your photograph here. You can enter the department, the password, and password needs reset. These two fields are used by the administrator to reset the password when the user has logged him out. For example, if the user enters the username or password incorrectly for more than 5 times, this section will be checked. If it is checked, then the user has tried multiple times and failed, and so this box is checked. Once when we are resetting the password, we usually uncheck this and enter the details here. So we'll ignore this because we are just creating a new user. Please make sure that this active tab is always checked before submitting this. Let me ignore these two fields. These are used by the administrator. And once I enter all these details, I click on submit. Once I click on submit, this is the company name for which we have created a user. If you see here, we have just created a user named stevebond@yahoo.com. So let me open this user here, and once we open this user, if you want to grant him some roles, you can just add some of the roles here. You can click on edit, and you can, for example, I want to grant him the admin rights. So admin rights is something where all the roles so here present are added to the user. So let me give him the admin rights. So you can use some specific rules and add it to the user. Once you add this, it'll say that the admin rule has been added to the user here on the top. So once this is done, if you want to add some groups, you can add groups, any group that the user should be associated with. You can add the groups, and these are the other details. It depends on the company to company. So what all tabs are available there? Majorly the roles and groups is used. So just explain it here. Now once you have done this, you can update this. Once you update this, the user is created. So this is how the user is created under the company. There is another option to create a user as direct. Instead of typing companies, you can directly use the user option here, users. And once you click on users, under organization, you have a users tab. Under user administration, you have users. So click on users here, and you will see the list of all the users with all the companies available. So once you see that, we can click on new, and you can create a user record here. Once you do this, I see that there is no option to add a company name here, so I went to the companies and created a user record from there. So this is another way to create a user for for a request. So I haven't done everything. So if we enter all the details here, we can submit this request. So this is how we can create a user in ServiceNow. Please let me know by adding comments below if you have any questions, and or you can watch more videos for more information on the user records. Thank you.